This afternoon I spoke with Governor Malloy and FBI Director Mueller. We've endured too many of these tragedies in the past few years. And each time I learn the news, I react not as a president, but as anybody else would, as a parent. And that was especially true today. They had their entire lives ahead of them.
Look what happened.
Political violence strikes yet again in America.
Every time there's another mass shooting in America, politicians have the same idea.
It's time to require a background check for anyone who wants to buy a gun.
I'm one of the Republicans who does believe there should be background checks.
It is an open secret that the existing background check system is broken.
Oh, I have an appetite for background checks. We're going to be doing background checks.
New technology is already making ghost guns even more difficult to contain. In the last decade, 3D printed weapons have evolved from flimsy plastic to include AK-47s, AR-15s, and even rocket launchers.
The invention and popularization of 3D printing technology has led to numerous technological innovations that are beneficial to society and our everyday lives. However, the widespread availability and improved quality of 3D printers has led to the increased production of illegal 3D printed firearms, also known as ghost guns. The nickname ghost gun comes from the fact that these plastic firearms are completely untraceable, lacking the engraved serial numbers that all guns must have, and their ability to bypass metal detectors, essentially making them ghosts. These weapons pose significant threats to public safety due to their lack of regulation, ease of creation, and essentially anyone with a 3D printer can make one, and in the wrong hands, the outcomes could be disastrous. The emergence of ghost guns has become a significant concern for law enforcement and public safety. These privately made firearms are produced outside of government control and have grown exponentially in popularity. The accessibility and popularity of these weapons has skyrocketed due to the affordability of entry-level 3D printing equipment, readily available materials, and growing online communities that share expertise and digital plans. The technological progress of 3D printing in general has significantly improved the overall quality and capabilities of 3D printed firearms, evolving from unreliable single-shot models that could possibly explode in the user's hands to semi-automatic and even fully automatic designs. "3D printing technology has seen significant advancement in recent years, becoming more accessible, affordable, and capable of producing higher quality prints. The most affordable quality 3D printers being sold online retail at prices as low as $150 nowadays. In 2022, the Biden administration implemented a rule requiring that commercially made gun kits be serialized and include background checks. Last year alone, there were approximately 20,000 suspected ghost guns reported to the ATF as having been recovered by law enforcement in criminal investigations, a 10-fold increase from 2016. Currently, the legality of 3D printed guns varies across different jurisdictions. In the United States, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives has ruled that 3D printed guns are subject to the same regulations as traditionally manufactured firearms. This rule by the ATF only takes into account weapons that are turned into the police or sold to gun buyers, requiring serial numbers. It completely disregards what could be done from preventing lone actors in producing their own working firearms. While the United States is well known for its high rates of gun violence, the rise of 3D printed firearms has allowed nations without a strong gun culture to also face the threat of homemade weapons being used by potential terrorists. Pandora's box has essentially been opened, requiring global cooperation and coordination to prevent these homemade weapons from being exploited by potential terrorists worldwide. On the other side of the globe, 2 men were arrested in Western Australia for illegally manufacturing and selling 3D printed firearms. The Western Australian Police announced on August 15, 2023, the discovery of a cache of 3D printed gun components, completed firearms, a 3D printer, and an electronic device containing firearm blueprints. This investigation, which began in April, highlights the growing threat posed by 3D printing all over the world. The ability to produce these ghost guns in a country where the police doesn't even carry guns is a significant threat to public safety and national security that requires a global response. 3D printed guns already are and will become a larger global problem in the near future, with multiple incidents other than this example reported in various countries as criminals and individuals exploit this emerging technology to circumvent gun regulations and obtain untraceable weapons. As previously mentioned, although the US is well known for its gun culture and all the problems surrounding the Second Amendment, it's countries like the UK and Japan where guns are not widely available or legal to own, where challenges in addressing the rise of these makeshift firearms are more dangerous because of their unarmed population. The tragic death of former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe in 2022 was a stark reminder and a perfect example of the dangers posed by the proliferation of 3D printed firearms in foreign countries. Abe was delivering a campaign speech for his party candidate when he was fatally shot by a 41-year-old Tetsuya Yamagami with an improvised firearm. Abe was transported by a medical helicopter to Nara Medical University Hospital, where he was later pronounced dead. Without a coordinated global effort to address this issue, we can expect to see more incidents like the assassination of Shinzo Abe in the future. The debate over 3D printed guns has sparked an interesting and complex discussion at the intersection of the First Amendment's free speech protections and the Second Amendment's right to bear arms. This challenges the government's ability to regulate the dissemination of information and the creation of untraceable firearms outside of traditional manufacturing. Similarly, the Second Amendment's right to bear arms presents a formidable barrier to the government's efforts to regulate these guns. As of right now, the only part of a firearm that is legally considered a gun is the lower receiver, which can be purchased online or even partially constructed at home. This allows individuals to circumvent traditional manufacturing and distribution channels, making it increasingly difficult for the government to effectively control the creation and possession of these illegal firearms. Any attempts to restrict the information or ability to create 3D printed guns may be seen as infringing on the fundamental liberties enshrined in the First and Second Amendments. This effectively describes the challenges lawmakers and law enforcement have to face when addressing the rise of ghost guns while also having to respect the rights and freedoms protected by the Constitution. Aside from the amendment debate, there is also a complex ethical debate surrounding this subject. On one hand, proponents argue that the ability to create firearms at home promotes individual liberty and self-defense against their tyrannical government. However, there are concerns about the potential for increased gun violence, the difficulty of regulation, and the risks of untraceable ghost guns falling into the wrong hands. The ethical implications of this debate can be examined through both utilitarian and deontological ethical frameworks. Utilitarianism, which aims to maximize overall well-being and minimize harm, would argue that ghost guns are unethical due to their potential to increase crime and threaten public safety. On the other hand, deontological ethics, which prioritize adherence to laws and moral duties, would also deem ghost guns unethical as they violate legal regulations and tend to disrupt society. The rapid spread of 3D printed ghost guns poses significant threats to public safety due to their untraceable nature and ease of production. We have explored 3D printed guns' rise to popularity, regulatory challenges, ethical implications, and legislation being implemented to prevent their spread. To prevent a future explosion of ghost gun-related crime, stricter regulations on 3D printing equipment and online files, better international cooperation, and global public awareness is essential. As a final point to demonstrate the severity of this issue and how easy it is to make a 3D printed gun, this is a fake toy gun made on a 3D printer. It's about 3 inches long and can't shoot bullets. It's made just to look like a little baby gun. However, this example was to show that anyone can make a gun.